Hello, Elizabeth. This is Eva, and I don't know why, but I'm nervous making this video response. This is my first video response, and what I am responding to for other people who may be watching, because maybe people on my end are seeing this first, my response, and maybe they don't know that, maybe they don't know the full backstory. So I am responding to your video, Elizabeth, about, your giveaway of a really beautiful tarot deck. And you wanted to know, for those people that might be watching this, you wanted to know how we feel about Halloween, what it means to us, what we plan to do, and so on and so forth. And I still don't know why I'm nervous, but este video é minha resposta para você no assunto Halloween. That is my half-assed Portuguese saying that this video is my response to you on the matter of Halloween. And the reason why I said that in Portuguese is that you'll notice I have all these pictures and such next to me. These are representative of my ancestors. Halloween is a time for me that is very, it's very chthonic. It's very close to the afterlife, and it's close to the dead. It's the time of the ancestors. Halloween to me is a time to honor those that have gone before, commune with them if need be, remember them, and so on and so forth. I like to try to keep my ancestors in my heart and mind, especially more to the forefront. A lot of times what I'll do on Halloween is I'll burn apple candles, apple scented candles, because apple, it's funny because this is actually something that's kind of Celtic. Apple is considered the food of the dead to a degree. I mean, there's other things it's used for as well, but to a lot of people it's considered the food of the dead, to me especially. And the reason why, it's funny that it's Celtic, being that I'm Portuguese, that I connect with that in a sense, but really it's not, because if you look at the roots of the Portuguese people were the Lusitanians originally. And the Lusitanians were a federation of Celts that occupied an area that was Spain a long time ago, before Portugal even came into existence. So maybe that's the little Celtic piece of me, that little bit of me somewhere deep down inside that connects with that. But I've always felt that apple is the food of the dead, and I have always felt that apple-scented candles are for honoring the dead. I mean, you can use white candles, you can use whatever you want, but I feel like when you really want to connect with ancestry or with spirits that have gone, before, I feel that apple is very appropriate. Sometimes I've done things like I've buried apples for the dead as well, to feed them on their journeys between this world and back again. I like to try and refresh my ancestor altar as often as possible. I try to remember. I'm not always the greatest. Sometimes they run a little low and I have to refresh them again. But I try to remember to refresh them on or before Halloween. Even if they have like clean water, I try to refresh them, or I aim to do that. But yeah, Halloween to me it's a holiday about roots. It's a domestic holiday. It's a chthonic holiday. It's just so between worlds. Like, if the crossroads had a day, it would be Halloween, you know? So these representations I wanted to tell you a little bit about. This little picture here, this is my maternal grandfather. He passed away, not this April that just passed, but the one before. He's recently gone to the other side. This picture here, this is my great-grandmother on my mother's side. That's my grandma's mom. And then my great-great-grandmother. So that's who they are. And this pretty doll here, there was like a hair on her face I was trying to get off, I'm sorry. This pretty doll here, this is a spirit doll representative of my grandfather's grandmother. This is all on my maternal line, not because I don't like my father's side of the family, or there's not that I have a problem with them, it's just I know more about this side of the family in terms of ancestors, so I tend to have like more specific images representing this side of the family. And my grandfather's grandmother, she was, from what I've been told by family members, she was a spiritualist in Portugal many, many, many years ago. People would go to her with problems, all kinds of problems, if they needed a cleansing or they needed guidance or like, you know how it is. She was like that wise woman that like you had an issue, you had a problem, you went to her. And this was like in a village. So a lot of these people that went to her, they didn't have a lot of money. So what she would do is she would accept barter sometimes in exchange. Sometimes they would say like, oh, I'll do you a favor, or I'll clean your house, or I'll bring you food. But from what I hear, she helped a lot of people. She did a lot of good. And this skull, I also keep this on my ancestor altar. I keep that there as a representation of all the ancestors that I don't know of, because time has just carried their memories so far away that no one that is living now is either aware of them or, maybe it's just an ancestor so far back that like, so that represents pretty much all the ancestors that I don't know, that I'm not specifically aware of, or that I don't have an image for. That's what that skull is. And these pumpkins here too, they're actually part of something that I do every year on Halloween. I have this weird, not ritual or habit, but every year I will go to the supermarket and I will pick out 2 pumpkins. And I'll be like real super meticulous, make sure there's no scratches, nothing wrong with them, because the better condition they're in, you can keep them for up to 6 months if you wanted to, And what I do is I plan with my husband and we carve these together. We make little lanterns, like jack-o'-lanterns. And there is a sort of spiritual ancestor link aspect to that too, because in a sense it's like you're making a lantern to light up the darkness. You're guiding the way on that day, on that night, in which the veil is thinnest, you're lighting a torch to guide the spirits where, on the paths that they're taking, where they need to and want to go, to you and then back home. You know, you are leaving a light in the night for their spirits. And the leaving the light concept, it resonates with me, because I also have this other practice that I tend to do when people die, when pets die. I light a white candle, and I do so because I feel that it guides the souls of those gone to the other side, and it carries our prayers that they can be at peace. So, let's see, I talked about communing with my ancestors, which is something I do on Halloween. I talked about my weird little thing where my husband and I carve pumpkins together. Not really weird. I mean, I'm sure other people carve pumpkins, but usually people that carve pumpkins generally have children. Here we are, like these childless people that are just like, let's carve pumpkins! But I don't know. I guess we celebrate our inner child, so, and then we connect with our roots by creating lanterns for the souls of those we love. So I've talked about that. A lot of times I will do tarot readings. I am a tarot reader by trade. It's not my only trade. Like, I mean, obviously I have a day job, but I read to help people. And I have a few decks. I don't have the deck that you're giving away, and I have to say, the artwork on that deck was phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal. It almost reminded me a little bit of the artwork on the Legacy of the Divine Tarot deck, which is another really, really pretty deck. I have the Legacy of the Divine, but the one that you showed, I thought it was very, very beautiful, but I don't have it. So yeah, I will read cards, or I will consult other forms of divination, usually. I mean, you know, I don't really set my plans in stone. I'm kind of like spirit-led. I have general things that I usually do. One weird habit that not weird, but one habit thing, right, like, I don't know, tradition, that's the word I was looking for, tradition. One tradition I have to have candy corn. If I don't have candy corn, it does not feel like Halloween. Don't know why, don't know when I even started this. It did not start as a child, this started a few years ago as an adult. It's just weird, like, I have to have candy corn on Halloween. And that's kind of cool too, because candy corn, you know, it's sweetness, it's abundance, because it symbolizes corn, and corn is a prosperity crop, you know, so, and it's close to the earth, and then we go back to the chthonic thing, and, you know, it's very domestic. There's kind of almost like a domestic sweetness, love, symbolism in with the candy corn. So yeah, I think I usually like to celebrate too. Like I like to dress up even still. Last year I was the Jabberwocky from Alice in Wonderland, and there was one year where I was the Sun Tarot card. That was so much fun, and I usually make my own costumes. I love the idea of shape-shifting. You know, the idea of putting on a costume and you are something otherworldly. I think that's very, very, very cool. And I hope I'm not rambling, but what else? What else? Yeah, I think I pretty much covered everything. To me, even, I have to, looking at the pumpkins, to me, okay, I talked about apples being the food of the dead, and the apple being good for calling the spirits close and for honoring them and for offering. When I look at pumpkin and think of pumpkin, it's funny how the apple is the death and the pumpkin is fertile. Pumpkin is, I don't know why, but they're thinking of the pumpkin and the seeds inside, and it almost makes me think of a womb. It makes me think of fertility, mother. And it's an interesting cycle having apple and pumpkin kind of tied in with the same holiday, because here pumpkin is life and apple is death, and here we see the cycle full circle. You know, if we were not born, we could not die. If we do not die, we cannot be reborn. So that's another cool thing too. But I think I'm going to have to wrap up this video. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I didn't sound like a rambling, crazy lunatic. I hope you enjoyed seeing my ancestors. Got my fingers crossed for the contest. I'm so hoping, so hoping, so hoping. And I wanted to say, congratulations on selling your house. Very cool. So, blessed be, Ashe, and make some more videos, lady. I haven't seen anything really too much new ever since, like, you did the chit chat video. It's been like a day or two. I miss you. Make a video. Blessed be.